Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Dad. Today I'm going to be covering SNDL once again, Sundial. If you haven't watched my previous video, you'll find it in the description below. I covered this one a few times before. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help the channel grow, subscribe, and notifications on, and let's jump right into this one. So Sundial Core going on as SNDL. This one here, we've been talking about it for a while. They have different products underneath them, basically going on with their different tiers. I did cover that in the previous video before, including what tier tailors for what kind of demographic or price point or quality, etc. So trying to find the latest of the SEC filing. The biggest thing that we've seen from the 15th, which is on Friday, is the offering warning of around $400 million. That's a large amount of money, but I'll explain why. So over here you have another paper on the 12th of January, which mentioned that they're going to put an offering up to $50 million, and then back here is around 50 million. So they went from 50 million to 400 million, and I think for a good reason. I'll explain that in a minute. But before doing so, they do have until June 28, 2021 to reach that compliance, which is a minimum bid of minimum of $1 bid for 10 consecutive days. Business day status. Now, they still have time to reach there. I do think they probably will go ahead without a reverse plate and reach there, and I'll explain why in a minute. But Sundial announces the launch of a premium concentrates product under its Top Leaf program. If you remember the Top Leaf program, it did have different kind of products underneath, and right now they're adding basically solventless cannabis extracts. And this is the most recent launch, and it's consistent with Sundial's focus on premium inhalables, following branded retail offering of flower, pre-roll, and vape cartridges. So that's another addition to their kind of portfolio, and it is bullish in a sense. The next thing I want to cover here is their institutional buyers. Institutional buyers in general looks like they're adding up, but there's almost no activity in 2021 except one. XR Securities added around 14,135 shares. That's a value of around $7,000. Now, the next thing here that I really want to talk about is the MORE Act and Joe Biden's 100-day plan. So if you remember, I did talk about the MORE Act previously, which is right here. MORE Act is right here. And the sponsor for this one was Senator Kamala Harris back in 2019. And this one here really focuses on Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestments and Expungement Act of 2019, or the MORE Act of 2019. And basically, it decriminalizes marijuana. It imposes a 5% cannabis tax products and requires revenue to be deposited into a trust fund. It requires the Bureau of Labor Statistics to regularly publish demographic data on cannabis business owners and employees. And basically, in a way, it really paves the way for legal marijuana businesses. And in that sense, it is already... So this bill itself is just basically decriminalizing marijuana. Now, in a sense about trading and having loss for businesses, that is yet to come, but because of Canada having it already done it a while ago, so SNDL is a Canadian company, and how it relates is the last time the MORE Act passed the House, this one really rallied. So my expectations is that once this passes the Senate, you probably will see another rally. Now, the Senate currently is 50-50 Democrats and Republicans, with Kamala Harris as the brake tire. So we expect for it to pass in the Senate with around 51 to 50 votes. Now the next Senate session, well, in all technicality, it will be February 15th to February 19th. And with February 15th to February 19th and March 29th to April 9th, the majority of there would be, of course, the Democratic Senate. So you can expect for it to pass on there after Joe Biden as well gets inaugurated. The big thing about this one here is Biden's 100 days plan as well. Now, it doesn't have anything clear about marijuana, but it says this one here. As a first step in setting a goal addressing prison reform and crime prevention, Biden says he'll quickly push Congress to pass the Safe Justice Act, proposed by Representative Bobby Scott. Anyway, the legislations include the steps to reduce the use of mandatory minimum sentences and nonviolent offenses and institute policies geared at lower recidivism. So the big thing about this one here is the nonviolent offenses. Possession of marijuana is considered a nonviolent offense, and at the same time, the MORE Act of decriminalizing marijuana does follow within his first 100 days kind of platform. At least that's how I'm interpreting, and I do believe that the MORE Act would very likely pass in the first 100 days of Biden's inauguration, and probably sometime either in February 15th, by February 19th, or March 29th to April 9th. Now, coming into the question into why are they raising $400 million? Well, two reasons. One, if you look into their latest balance sheets in terms of the last quarter, their total cash was somewhere around $21 million. Total assets in general was $227 million. Their total liabilities is $227 million. That $400 million will basically pay off all their liabilities. That's as of September. I think numbers have changed, of course. It will pay off all their liabilities, which is amazing. And it will have enough money to potentially expand into the US. And that is why I think this one is going to be a bit bullish, but the offering looks like it's very likely to come. It looks like the entire industry is bracing for that, and it's not just SNDL, but they're getting ready for that kind of bullish news. Now, the next thing I want to cover is technical analysis. If you haven't done so, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, leave notifications on, and if you haven't joined our Discord yet, it very much acts like a chat room. Please feel free to join it. We chat in all day during trading sessions and help one another. There's no pumping allowed, and we keep it safe. Anyway, technical analysis. It really gives us a perspective on the psychology of traders. So, on the 1 week perspective, things are looking a little bit bullish here. The ADX shows them there is a very much possibility of a trend following here, a positive trend. It's above the 50 SMA, so that's really bullish for the second week in a row. 30 EMA is above the 10 SMA. That is bearish, but it's kind of closing down, so it's bearish going towards bullish. Now, on a 1 day perspective, things are looking really bullish in that sense. 10 SMA is above 30 EMA. The green line is above the red line. And that is actually the trading action zone. So if it does dip around here, it's very much expected to see a reversal, a positive one. 65 cents, 55 cents is that window. Now, the 50 SMA is below the 200 SMA, which is bearish. But it's only going to take a few days, as you can get to see the 50 SMA, the purple line, is actually climbing up way too fast. 200 SMA is actually dipping down. And what that actually says is that you're going to get a golden cross in the next few days, which is an incredible bullish point. Golden cross is when the 50 SMA crosses the 200 SMA from the bottom. The ADX still shows there probably is another leg up. The MACD shows it is retracting a little. You might actually see a pullback in the next week. But I'll brush it right off because even though with a negative trend here, it's just accumulated on the MACD. Now, the next thing is a 2-hour perspective. Here's where you see a massive dip dropping down to 60 cents and currently sitting at 10% down. And it is because of the offering news. You get to see that even though it is bullish, the MACD and everything else is really showing you that it's probably going to slip down. That offering is scaring a lot of people. 10 cents from 70 something cents to 60 cents. That is massive. But the next thing here is the moving average band. Expecting to trade this one at 62 on the top, 56 in the bottom, and 51 in the middle. 51 on the bottom, 56 in the middle. Now, stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both showing there's another leg up for this one. And here is something very important, is Fibonacci retracement supports and resistances. 58 is the current support because it already dipped below the 71, 41, and 14 cents. Significant resistances are 71, 84, 104, and 128. Now the next thing is the price line action to try to determine where the supports actually lie. There is a very strong support sitting at the 64 cents. Below there, you're looking at 63 cents. Below there, you're looking at 60 cents. Below there, 58. Below there, you're looking at 55, 51, 49, and then down to 46. Significant resistances are just a few here. So the next one is 68, 70, 74, and then jumping to 78. Coming to the question to Ed, what do you think actually about this one here? It's definitely still trading nicely on an uptrend. This uptrend looking somewhere to be, I think, somewhere around there. Okay. It's still up there. It's touching it pretty nicely. And I definitely do think that we're probably going to see higher. Now, there is definitely going to be an offering. At least that's what I feel, because why not? They get to pay off with that $400 million, their entire debt, which is a bullish thing after the offering. And then the next thing is the expansions to the US, the possible expansions to the US. They need to have capital ready. They need to have more assets than liability. So the banks actually are more comfortable giving them more money, and they have more assets in hand. In the longer term, it looks good on paper. On the short term, it looks like we're probably going to get an offering, we're probably going to get a dip, and then it's going to skyrocket upwards. just because of the MORE Act and Biden's 100-day plan and when the Senate is gonna come back. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day.